Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into, well, a really specific source, something called hypno-channeling.
Right. It's this idea, you sometimes see it discussed in books like Naomi Choose the Next Level You, that a hypnotist helps someone connect, maybe channel energy or information.
Sort of tapping into a wider consciousness.
That's the concept, yeah. Using hypnosis as a tool to access something beyond the everyday mind, like a facilitated look into the subconscious, potentially.
Okay. And our source today is, it's a session from a YouTube channel, Hypno Vibes, where the hypnotist, Naomi, guides someone named Jessica. And the focus, Denver International Airport, which, already has its share of buzz.
Oh, definitely. Lots of theories floating around about that place.
So the idea was to connect with the airport's energy, see what comes up about, well, any mysterious things people talk about.
So Naomi guides Jessica, counts her down, gets her to connect.
Yeah. And what was that first contact like? What did the energy say?
Well, it was pretty direct, actually. It just identified itself as the energy of the airport.
Just that. No immediate weirdness.
No, and interestingly, it immediately kind of pushed back on the idea that the airport itself is mysterious. The exact words were something like, "It is just there."
Huh. Okay. But people do find it mysterious. Did it explain why that perception exists?
It did. The channeled energy suggested the mystery is sort of cultivated. Purposefully.
Cultivated? How?
Yeah.
To what end?
To induce more fear, apparently, and act as a way to distract people from the truth.
Fear and distraction. Okay. That's a familiar theme in some circles. Did it say who might be doing this distracting?
Yes, it pointed towards ETS, extraterrestrial beings.
Okay. So aliens are involved, according to this channeling.
That's what was claimed. But importantly, it wasn't described as, ships landing or direct physical stuff.
Right. More subtle.
Exactly. The description was influence working through the mind and the brains of the people who can do this. So more psychological or psychic influence.
Okay. Indirect manipulation.
Yeah.
Did they get specific about which ETS? Because, there are lots of names thrown around in that field.
Yeah, they asked that directly. And the energy specifically said no to some common ones.
Like who?
It ruled out reptilians, the Grace, and the Gray's Draconian.
Okay. So who was it then?
The name given was more negatively oriented Ricolians.
Ricolians. Okay, that's specific. And probably not a household name.
No, not one of the most commonly discussed groups, for sure. Adds a layer, though.
It does. Now, whenever you talk about hidden influence and distraction, does the Illuminati come up? Did that get mentioned?
It did get asked, and the response was interesting. It wasn't a direct yes or no, more like it's a similar kind of thing.
Oh, so?
The channeled energy said it operates in the same way, meaning, like the Illuminati theory itself, it's something that was created to induce fear as a way to distract people from the truth.
So another layer of distraction, potentially even talking about them.
That seemed to be the implication. The core mechanism is fear and misdirection, regardless of the label.
Which leads to the question, why would anyone, like the U.S. government or whoever, allow this kind of negative influence, this fear-mongering?
The answer given in the channeling was pretty blunt.
Yeah.
Because they feed off fear.
So symbiotic relationship almost. The influencers get something, fear energy, and maybe whoever's allowing it benefits somehow too.
That's the picture painted, yes. A kind of energetic transaction based on negative emotion. It definitely raises questions about, well, unseen power dynamics.
Okay, let's shift to the location itself, Denver. Why there? Did the energy explain why that specific spot? Is it like an energy vortex or something?
Not quite a vortex or like a ley line intersection, no. The description was more nuanced.
How so?
It called Denver a geographically located area that has the energy that is more allowing.
Allowing of what?
Allowing of this kind of influence, it seems. It was described as an energetic location, but more like a neutral buffer.
A neutral buffer. So, like, it doesn't have a strong positive or negative charge on its own, making it easier to push one way?
That seems to be the idea. Easier to make it one way was the phrasing used. So less about inherent power, more about malleability, maybe.
Yeah.
Susceptibility.
Interesting. And did this energy offer any predictions? Like what's going to happen at the airport given this influence?
The answer there was a bit cagey, maybe.
Oh.
It said, there's no answer for what will happen. We can see what will happen.
So potential futures, not a set destiny.
Seems like it. Suggesting possibilities exist, but the outcome isn't fixed. Which, aligns with a lot of views on time and potential.
Makes you wonder, Do people feel this? Do folks in Denver notice this weird energy or the influence?
Yeah.
Did the channeled energy talk about public awareness?
It claimed mostly no, not on a conscious level anyway. People aren't actively noticing or trying to shift it.
There's always a but, isn't there?
Well, yeah, it asserted that the energy does leave an impression in their subconscious.
Ah, so it's working beneath the surface,
Yeah.
affecting people without them realizing.
That was the suggestion. And it also added that very few people aren't affected, which kind of puts the emphasis back on, self-awareness.
Being conscious of what might be influencing you subconsciously. Okay. And going back to the purpose, these alleged Draconians, or Ricolians rather,
Yeah.
what was their end game? What did the energy say they were trying to achieve?
The stated intention was pretty negative, to plant more negative energy here so people will be more fearful.
Just generating fear. Anything else?
It also claimed the airport serves as one of their base in the city.
A base. Wow. Okay, so a strategic foothold for spreading fear, essentially.
That's the narrative presented in the channeling. Yes.
And one of the striking things, about Denver Airport are those unusual features. The Blue Horse statue, the murals. Some are pretty dark.
Right. Lucifer, the gargoyles, the murals depicting, unsettling scenes.
Did the channeling address why those things are just accepted, why people don't question them more?
It did. That was a key point raised. The observation was that people don't really question it.
They just get used to it.
Exactly. Those statues and murals, even ones showing children crying, they just become part of the background, normalized. And it drew a contrast, suggesting if you put that same stuff in, say, New York City, people would likely react much more strongly.
Yeah, probably. So it speaks to maybe a level of passivity or just accepting the weird.
Or perhaps, as the channeling suggested next, something about the general awareness level there.
Did it comment on the consciousness levels in Denver specifically?
It did, yeah. The assessment from the channeled energy was that consciousness there is lowered.
Lowered
Yeah.
compared to where? Or just generally low?
It implied generally lower, characterized by more people who are less aware, and this supposedly makes it easier for that subtle influence to take hold.
Okay, so the environment, the alleged ETS influence, and the population's awareness level, it's all presented as interconnected.
That's the picture, yes. A susceptible location influenced by negatively oriented ETS aiming to foster fear and distraction, using the airport's weirdness as a tool, impacting a population perceived as less aware.
So, wrapping this specific deep dive up, we looked at this Hypnovibes channeling about Denver Airport. And the key takeaways from that specific perspective are, well, this idea of negatively oriented Ricolian ETS influencing the place.
Right, with the goal being fear and distraction, not direct interaction. And Denver being chosen for its sort of energetic neutrality, its allowing nature.
And the effects are supposedly subconscious, leaving impressions even if people don't consciously notice the weird murals or the underlying energy, tied into a generally lower level of awareness in the area, according to the source.
And it's really important to stress again, this is one perspective, gained through a very specific method, hypnochanneling. It's fascinating for sure, but you have to take it as just that one interpretation.
Absolutely. Treat it as data, perhaps, but not necessarily undisputed fact. Still, it makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
About the places we move through every day.
Ugh.
Could seemingly odd details or just a general vibe somewhere have, deeper energetic stuff going on, intentions behind them.
And what does it really mean to be aware in a world that might be full of influences, subtle or otherwise, that we don't always perceive?
Definitely some interesting things to chew on. Thanks for exploring this with us.
You might operate energy that can give us some explanations or any type of understandings for this airport, Denver Airport. So when I count to 3, this energy will come through. And I really want to thank you for this information in advance. 1, energy coming through, 2, and 3. Hello, I'm speaking with.
The energy of the airport.
You tell me what this airport is, what really have a lot of mysterious things. What you can tell us about the energy?
It's not mysterious. It's just there. So to induce more fear, also as a way to distract people from the truth. It's actually ETs. They influence the energy in that area. They did not have direct contact with the people, but they were able to get into the minds and the brains of the people who can do this.
So when you say ETs, so I don't need to know exactly.
It's not the reptilians.
And it's not the Greys.
No, not the Greys.
Draconian.
Yes. The more negatively oriented draconians.
So I want to know, is there any, how does the connection with the Illuminati?
It's in the same way, something that was created to induce fear as a way to distract people from the truth.
So how to say, let's say the U.S. government, right, or whatever associated department will allow this.
Because they feed off fear.
So why Denver?
It's in a geographically located area that has the energy that is more allowing.
So in a way, it's almost an intersection.
No, it's just that point on the map.
Say one more time.
It's that location on the map.
Right. So I'm saying this is an energetic intersection.
Not an intersection, just an energetic location. It was neutral at first, so it was easier to make it one way.
So what will happen here?
There's no answer for what will happen. We can see what will happen.
So did people notice this and started doing anything to they shift the energy?
No, but it does leave an impression in their subconscious.
Say it one more time.
It does leave an impression in their subconscious.
But there are definitely people who are not affected by this.
Very few.
Oh.
You have to be very aware of working with yourself.
I see. So in a way, it did serve the original purpose.
Yeah.
So what would they want to do here, the Draconian?
They just want to implant more negative energy here.
So people will be more fearful.
Yes. It's also one of their base in the city.
And the people did not question this. That's something
No, it's not out of the ordinary to have things around an airport. It's just the statues themselves were out of the ordinary.
But even I saw a painting on the wall and they're like the children are crying or it's very obvious.
Yes, but it's still in a way background noise where people will not make it too much of a big deal.
So every day so many people are at this airport, but no one is questioning,
right?
Let's say the city or the government. But let's say this kind of thing will not be able to happen in New York City because people will say something.
Yeah, so many people around.
So in a way, can we say the consciousness level is a little bit lower there? So it's easier?
You cannot say it's lower. There's just more people who are less aware.
That's what I should say. I appreciated the information and I think that's good enough for now. And thank you.